A lot of people are here. It's a good environment.
We want to set up here today to kind of showcase the community.
Are you trading up just because you want to have that high-end card to sell, or you just want to hold it just to have it?
But is it processing or are we
Gambling.
Is it gambling? I took the perspective of I need to get to know more people and like have conversations with them.
Is this one of those things like, oh, you want to make this deal? I'll put you on my video. Like, nah, I'm okay.
Y'all ready for Dr. Strange? Just a question. Are you ready, bro?
See, and then he had it signed by him.
No, when they cut Darth Maul in half, I literally yelled out, "No!"
If I would have known BGS has more value long-term wise, I think I would have went that route.
But do you have certain cards that you know you're going to hold on to?
Yeah, FD, man. I'm in it for the long term.
It's Friday night.
What's good? F Dizzle, what's up, man?
What's up? Friday night.
Man, you ready?
A special edition of What's the Flavor?
I think it's what, 3 weeks from now, right? 3 weeks. Exactly 3 weeks from today.
Yeah, next weekend it's Culture Collision, right?
Yeah, 3 weeks from today is the big show that everybody's been talking about.
3 weeks is Burbank. And we got EJ who was just joined.
Oh, EJ's in the house. What's up, D? Uh-oh.
Oh, EJ will be back, people.
He will be back.
In 3 weeks, we have Burbank.
Man, how excited are you?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited too.
I feel like I'm going to find something that I never thought I'd find there.
I have a lot of questions too, so hopefully we get them answered tonight, because man, part 2, woo, I cannot wait.
Ontario Convention Center.
From Burbank to Ontario. They're going everywhere if you think about it. It'd be a big triangle.
You know the Golden State Warriors got to win in there, right?
Yeah, they got that W tonight. I was watching some of it.
I'm still a little like they only won by 6. Like we gotta start closing these games out. You know,
well, they had it back to back. Come on, FD.
Some people tonight didn't play last night. There's no excuse, man. You got EJ back. EJ.
Man, they were not letting us in, my brother.
What's going on?
What's going on, dude?
Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's up, man?
Man, it's been a long day, guys, but I'm excited, man. I'm pumped, man. It's been an honor to be back in the trenches with not only FD but also JD. So we're pumped, we're excited, man. We're crunch time mode, so we're happy to be here.
We're talking about 3 weeks away.
What, JD?
Huh?
Jump into the questions.
Oh, shit. You already know I'm ready. 3 weeks in. Come on now. Talk about it. How excited are you?
Man, it didn't, honestly, it didn't hit me until yesterday. It didn't hit me until yesterday. It was 3 weeks away. Man, I'm just really, really looking forward to February 13th, which is after the show, and definitely getting some rest, much needed rest, right? But man, guys, I've given this pretty much the last five months since the first show.
Mm-hmm.
Just an incredible feedback from everyone, and guys, I mean, we don't take that lightly. We're very much grateful of the support and everything that yourself, FD, JD, and everybody, just even on the media side. I mean, look, I mean, there's a ton more coverage at our show than I've ever thought of ever having, right? And we're expecting to double that with this show. And I think a lot of folks that do not see the behind the scenes stuff, they're only seeing the commitment post, but what they're not seeing is that we still have we have a handful of some pretty groundbreaking announcements left, and it's things that I'm looking forward to announcing, and myself, Rob, and Jay, we're just very much really gearing in on getting this done for this show.
Wait, you got more? What else do you guys got? I mean, I feel like you guys
okay, I will say I have one exclusive that I could share.
Okay.
Because of course, for those of you guys that are tuned in on the What's the Flavor, I'm a big fan of the What's the Flavor episodes in the series, so I'm looking forward to not only talk about Burbank, but yeah, no, I definitely have one exclusive that I'll talk later as the show progresses.
Okay.
Man, I don't know what else you guys could pull out. I mean, you got on-site grading, right? From all three.
We have on-site grading from PSA, which will be Thursday. Now that will be reserved for VIPs, but we do have a very, very new, and we're very proud of this partnership with PSA and the Long Beach Expo, which is happening a week before our show. And we have a special promotion for our locals. And by the way, guys, our show is primarily geared towards our audience in Southern California. Our audience in Southern California, I wholeheartedly believe alone could host a show just Southern California, right? And this is geared towards SoCal. So if you guys are in the area, Long Beach Expo, stop by. Regular service, you will get it back at the Burbank Card Show. So if you were to submit your cards at the Long Beach Expo, $50, you will get it back, or whatever the regular price is. I'm not a PSA rep here. So, but regular service, you don't have to ship it out. You don't have to worry about anything else after that. That will be straight to PSA's hands, and you'll get it back the week, which would be Burbank, and you'll get it back then. And then, of course, that Thursday, Super Express services will be on-site grading. Of course, take-home services will also be available for not only sports cards, but also TCG and Funko. So all that's going to be available. Beckett, of course, Beckett is a proud partner of ours as well. They're on-site grading throughout the whole show, and we're very, very pumped and excited to have them involved. And of course, the years of relationships that Rob and Dr. Beckett have throughout his career, we're just definitely proud of that relationship. And they're not only doing on-site, but they're also doing RCR, and they're doing take-home submission. SGC is our new player in the game as far as a new Burbank Card Show grading asset to the team. SGC will be coming in, and we'll be doing take-home submissions. CSG, I'm really, really excited. Shout out to the amazing team at CSG. CSG will also be there doing take-home submissions. But in relating to CSG, we will have CGC available. Shout out to my brother JD, the collector. CGC will be accepting take-home submissions for both cards and comic books and everything in between that is labeled C. So there it is, guys. And then, of course, we do have tag grading coming back. If you guys remember tag grading, they are a juggernaut. I would not take tag grading lightly, guys. I mean, look, shout out to Steve, shout out to Mike, Mark, Matt, the brothers, man, doing big things, the whole team. And of course, Jeremy Lee, he's there as well now. And man, I mean, kudos to those guys in an industry where it's very hard to break the mold, right? I'd like to say tag has a golden opportunity of breaking that mold this year. They are really, really gearing up. And again, this is just coming from the inside to the out. Like those guys are really working their asses off. And man, shout out to them. They will have a huge presence at the Burbank Card Show. So man, look, guys, I wanted to make sure once the contract was signed, everything was ready for me to lead the point guard way as far as with the Burbank Card Show. I wanted to make sure that we do it big. And we do have one last announcement. I'll wait for that. I'll wait for that a little bit because that one's a personal announcement. But I'll wait for that a little bit too.
So can you speak to how many tables and where are some of the vendors coming from? Some of the people that set up.
Man, so again, we 2x'd our dealers. We definitely could have got up to 3. Again, we're an application only dealer based show. We don't reserve we reserve the right to accept or deny our dealers. That's just something that was more, and it's not more on Burbank. That's more on me because on a sense that I want to make sure that we understand each dealer. We build a relationship with these dealers. We understand what they're bringing to the table, punt intended, right? And making sure that everybody is legitimate, right? And in our industry where there's a buying and selling factor to that, we want to make sure that we could regulate that. Now, as far as dealers, it's pretty much the best of the best. I take full pride in our dealer list. If you guys see all the commitment posts, and by the way, shout out to the dealers, man. The dealers, in my opinion, they get the short end of the stick of all the promotion and the promotions, and they usually have they pay for the tables and then they don't really get the promotion. I wanted to make sure that was a huge part of our show, and making sure that we highlight our dealers, making sure we highlight those who are trusting us with their business and their travel and overall their safety. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that I'm seeing with other shows is the lack of support with the dealers. And I'm doing my best. Again, I can't make any promises. I'm getting already bombarded with emails of folks telling me, hey, I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be there. And of course, I'm prioritizing our returnees, because look, if it's not for the returnees and the folks that bought into our system, I mean, we wouldn't have a show, honestly, guys. I mean, look, we wouldn't have a show if it's not for them, and if it's not for the guests like you guys that are buying into this. And I mean, look, our first show was incredible, and we had to make sure there was two things that we took care of, and that was number one, the space. That was our number one problem, was the space. And we took care of that. The space is about 5 times the size. It's 80,000 square feet on the main room. It's another 15,000 square feet on this second floor, which will be exclusive to our trade nights. And I'll fill you guys in on that. But to close out the dealers side of the realm, our second problem was vintage. We had a very lackluster amount of vintage folks coming or that were dealing at the first show at Burbank. And I'm proud to announce that we will have some of the most elite vintage dealers in the game. A few notable names that I'm sure JD and FD you guys know. LA Collection, man, good guy. I got off the phone with him earlier this week. He's locked in for the show. We have Mitch, who's a very, very well-known guy in the game as far as vintage. And we have a couple East Coast guys that's coming in that, if you guys look at our commitment page on both the website as well as Instagram, you guys see this is really the who's who of dealers in the country and the world. And one thing I'm also very proud of is our international dealers that are coming to the show. Canada, we have, I think we started off with one dealer, which is Carlos Sluggers 55. This time we'll have 6 dealers from Canada. We have a total of 10 international dealers with Germany and the UK. And man, thank you guys so much, man. I can't say thank you enough, man. It's kind of crazy because JD and FD, you guys know where I started. So, to be running this is incredible. So yeah, I mean, going off to the dealer counts, I mean, look, I would be disrespectful if I didn't name any names, and I don't want to name any names because I'm going to lose a couple people. Right. So, but if you guys know, man, it's the who's who, man.
You want me? Okay, I'll keep going. But
I'm ready, bro. I'm ready.
You think I've been thinking about this all day. But so talk about the international field. How did that end up going? Like, what made you want to say, let me get these people overseas, or did they come to you guys?
You know what? I would be completely wrong if I said that they came to us, because I wanted, of course the Burbank name is strong, right? And a few did come directly to us, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure that was locked in. So the first conversations I had were of course the folks in Germany, the folks that were there the last show. And then of course, in Canada, we wanted to make sure that there was folks that were serious about it beyond just going to the Sports Card Expo, which I'm really, really excited to go. Shout out to Steve Menzie, who runs an incredible show out there in Toronto. I'm excited to get there. I will say this, Loco Card Collector, Liquidity Lane. I know the Union guys are doing that, and I respect those guys. Shout out to Wiley and Alex, but Burbank is all about liquidity. We don't have to market it. I'm just going to keep it a buck. You don't want to have to market it. If you see about liquidity, Burbank alone is liquidity. It's liquidity 24/7.
Yeah, because when you hear the name Burbank,
when you think of Burbank, it's all about liquidity. We don't have to market that. I wanted to make sure our dealers understood that, hey, there's a buying and selling platform in that, and take it the way you guys want. But that's always been something I'm extremely proud of, and our team is very proud of, is that ability to liquidity is a part of our industry. That doesn't have to be marketed. At the same time, it's a part of our industry to where if FD needs to buy a rare Steph Curry card, it's not where it's like designated. It's not designated. There should be dealers that are willing to partake, depending on how fair FD is, right, on his price. But at the same time, like if there's a situation where FD is trying to buy this Grail Steph Curry card, he should have an opportunity. If he spent his time and his money to come to a show, there should be an opportunity to get bought out and to get cashed out. And I'm very, very proud that we have some strong buyers at our show. And again, I would disrespect a bunch of folks if I didn't name any names, because it's countless amount of folks that are dealers at our show, beyond just Burbank, that are willing to buy. Alt is coming to our show, and we're excited to have a new partnership and a sponsor like Alt. They're really bringing the guns as far as this year. And again, going back to Alt, like they didn't want to be treated like a sponsor. They didn't want a quote unquote booth, right? They wanted to be in the trenches. They wanted to be in the dealing side of the spectrum. And shout out to the good folks at Alt, man. They're pumped. Of course, Hit Parade's coming to the show. We have a good amount of folks. And again, look, I want to stop right there, because there's so many. Even Prevail Tim is cashing out. So my brother Tim, like that's the biggest thing, because I'm a dealer myself. So I could speak on that, because I go to these shows. Yeah. And I step at these shows. I spend my money and my business and my industry as far as Dallas is concerned, that like I go to these shows, so I see it, and I'm able to really understand what works, what doesn't work, the relationships and things of that nature. Going above and beyond with that. We don't have to necessarily vocalize that, because of course with the brand like Burbank, it doesn't have to be vocalized. But the one thing that I do want to vocalize and share is our Kids Trade Day. That's the one biggest thing that I'm really, really intrigued about. Stephanie Mama Breaks is the forefront. She's the leader behind the Kids Trade Day. And after our conversations this week, it may be the best kids event in our industry today. It's packed with sponsorships. If you have a kid that you plan on bringing to the show, this is the perfect time to bring a kid to the show. This is his packet. And yes, I know 12 and under is free, but if you look any remote younger than that, come through the show, because there's going to be so many giveaways. There's going to be so many interactive activations, and eBay is presented by in that event. So of course they're going to bring in the heat. Shout out to Fanatics, our official sponsor. They're going to bring in the heat, and we have a ton more sponsors that we've yet to announce that are going to partake in that Kids Trade Day, as well as Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro, our official sponsor when it comes to everything, accessories and beyond. Shout out to Frank and the guys at Ultra Pro, and they're looking to create a new incentive for the kids. And of course, look, our hobby is based on the kids side of the realm, and we want to make sure that the new generation of kids get in there. So we'll get FD in there. We'll make sure it's a vibe, and we'll make sure that it's a good time.
Yeah, we have to bring Junior through. Now Hector has a great question. Let's jump right into trade night, because you said something about it earlier.
Oh man, Hector, you ready, brother?
Location, price, what's going on with trade night?
All right, so here it is. So trade night number 1, which is there's some clarity to this that I will clarify. Thursday is VIP night, so that will be reserved for our VIPs. Yet the trade night for that Thursday will not be exclusive to VIP. That will be open. So for those of you guys that do not have VIP passes but want to make it out to the trade night, we have sports card investor Jeff and his team and the Market Movers team that's going to be sponsoring that trade night. They will also be hosting the trade night. And man, incredible momentum for the show as far as getting that going. Friday, we have the Road Show guys, the Kentucky Road Show guys, as well as the Road Show family, everyone in between. Man, Tracy, the twins, you guys know who you are, everybody on that team. It's going to be an incredible. If you guys went to the National last year and you guys saw how the Road Show does trade nights, that's what they're going to do this coming Friday for the Burbank Card Show, February 10th. And then February 11th, if you guys ever been to a Burbank sports card trade night, you guys know how crazy that gets. That trade night gets insane. FD's over here doing content. JD's over here doing some major deals for some rare Kyries. It's going to be an crazy time. That's going to be an official Burbank Sports Cards trade night with Burbank, and it's sponsored by Fanatics.
Oh,
and it's going to be a big event. We're really excited. I know we got some folks that have already made plans for the Super Bowl, and I'll get into that as well.
Oh, that was a nice
that's kind of their last hurrah before that Sunday where it kind of chills out with the Super Bowl. But we do have some plans for the Super Bowl as well. I'm not ready to get into that just yet. I could give some snippets, but trade night will be insane. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to be stacked. And game day, shout out to Game Day Las Vegas. Shout out to Jimmy, Steve, the gang. Of course, they did an incredible job at the last trade nights at our first show. And it's going to be the same where Steve's going to be right behind that DJ table, and he's going to do whatever you got to do. So it's going to be a great time.
Very cool.
Damn.
Man, I'm fired up for this show, guys. I don't know about you. I'm fired up, bro.
Too.
Man, I'm about to try to see if I
A lot
can
of great
get
stuff on that. Yeah. Yeah.
My God, I don't even know. Damn, that's what 3 days in a row. Let's just rewind because you know what I told FD this about a few months ago when you first started doing the shows that EJ is doing the footwork right now, going to all these shows across the country, all that stuff you did. That gave you an idea how to make the show. I guess I'm not gonna lie, a lot better than all of these shows are promoting too, right? Because you were just taking bits and pieces everywhere, and I told FD, I was like, this is how it's supposed to be ran. Just going to shows, picking from here and this. And then you first started the committee with the Newport show. Remember, you started doing that. Yeah. Everybody started falling in place. I was telling FD, this dude put in the work from the beginning just to right now. And you could show that all that work you did is coming to how you wanted to come out to.
And I appreciate that, JD, because, we've had some talks offsite and off record as far as, how things go. And I will say this, each promoter that you guys understand, this is probably the hardest job in the hobby. And shout out to every promoter out there, man. I mean, it's one of the hardest jobs. And man, you guys have to understand, I came from the tech industry, man. It was a lot easier to make money than here, so, but I will say this, man, it's one of the most gratifying jobs that I've ever had. I've never had this much fun ever in my career. And kind of rewinding back during that whole year of kind of picking things out. And I think if anything, it was to build relationships. I built great relationships with Kyle and Leo from Dallas, built some great relationships from the folks at the National, built great relationships. Shout out to our official sponsor, Mint Collective. We're also a supporting sponsor of the Mint Collective. We built that relationship, and we'll have some announcements leading up to the show as far as how that's going to mirror. So shout out to Mint Collective, in my opinion, one of the, I will clarify when I say this, one of the best B2B shows, regardless of industry. I mean, look, if you guys are trying to level up your game on a business side, Mint Collective is the way to go. And shout out to everybody at the Mint that is doing an incredible job with that. I'm actually looking forward to that because it's about 15 minutes away from my house. So there it is. But going back to the commitment post, it's funny because Las Vegas Card Show, Dakota, I've me and him butt heads quite a bit, right? And but I will say this, I respect him because the guy was a hustler, and the guy back in 2020, 2021, he was everywhere. He was everywhere. And Dakota, if you're watching this, man, just know, man, regardless, man, I love you, man, and I hope that we could figure out the next show, right? But he really started the commitment posts. He really started that whole kind of level up as far as in the graphic design side, the branding side. And that's something that I honestly got from him is realizing that, like, yo, these dealers need that spotlight too, not just the sponsors. And man, I mean, I saw that, and my background's in design and marketing as well. And I kind of played my whole little twist to it. So we did that with Newport. And of course, with Burbank, we had to do the same. And I'd like to say that at the moment, we have the best commitment strategy that I've seen. So, and it's a long shot, man. I told you, man, I'm here, bro. We're here. What's the flavor? We're here.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, so there it is.
Fuck, man. I'm just.
So this is a question that I think Hector brought up. Someone brought up here. With the new space, EJ won't have to keep apologizing for a long time. I know that's already knocked out. There won't be anybody standing anywhere.
Yeah. And I will say this, Hector, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody just standing in line, and for all this, for all the folks that just kind of gave us our time, guys. I mean, thank you guys so much. I mean, we did not at all expect that problem to have. To a lot of people, yes, it's a good problem to have, right? But to us, we wanted to make sure that problem was handled. So when the show was over, August 29th, I initially was going to go on vacation, right? But instead, I decided to, or us as a team, we decided to try to work things out with the Marriott. And by the way, the Marriott was nothing but incredible as our first vendor and venue. But at the same time, we decided that it was just impossible to get back there. You know, it was impossible. I think it would be a disservice towards our guests to have that line again. You know, and Hector, to answer your question, that's the reason why we took a gamble and we took a chance that, hey, look, let's scale this up to a bigger location. And Jay found and built that relationship with Ontario, and we'll talk a little bit more about Jay and Rob, but Jay really locked that in, and it's been an awesome experience so far working with Ontario. And for those of you guys that's never been and questioning Ontario and things of that nature, it's one of the most beautiful convention centers that I've ever seen. And I just can't wait for you guys to all be there. And yeah, Hector, I'm really hoping there's not a line. But again, we have to go back to the fire marshal code and make sure we cohere with the laws out there, because if we don't, then I won't have any more shows.
Did you guys get this the room next to it? Because there's the big room and there's like a little room to the side. Did you guys get that one too?
Yes. So for this show, we have A and B, which are the biggest rooms.
Yeah.
That second room, we don't have that. We decided to get the second floor instead, because that's kind of more of a trade night type of vibe. And if you guys have ever known and ever smelt trade nights, you guys understand that there has to be some air. You know? So luckily there's some open air space in the second floor. Now there's 2 conference rooms that will be dedicated for the trade night as well. But luckily the outside part where we'll keep the doors open, but at the same time the majority of the space will be open air. So we're excited for the open air. Trust me.
What was the biggest challenge from the first one to the second one that you guys are facing now, if there's any?
You know, the biggest challenge, again, like this is kind of more my selfish answer here, is how was definitely the Super Bowl. You know, it was definitely folks that were trying to work with us, and they did. You know, and again, like, as much as we want this show to be successful, we want to make sure our dealers were successful. So we asked some of our core dealers, what they thought about it before we even, made that announcement. And most of these dealers, if not all, were, of course they had their opinions about it and things like that. And again, guys, we're trying things new. A little shameless plug here as far as for the next show, we're definitely going to look into potentially doing it either before the Super Bowl or after for our Q1 next year anyways. So again, guys, look, we're a startup as well. We're growing. That was probably our hardest first 3 weeks, right? As far as getting the messaging out there with not only our dealers, but our sponsors. But after our first iteration of kind of what we could see as far as the layouts, as far as what our capabilities were, and it went from there. It was literally just those 2 weeks of growing pains as far as readjusting of communication. It wasn't necessarily the brand as a whole. It was just kind of more of oh, I got to adjust my schedule, or, oh, I got to, do this. But as time progressed, it really started to pick up, and we're just really, really pumped that now, people see the vision. But again, I don't necessarily blame anyone. If they have plans, I completely understand. I just need you guys to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Man, that's crazy. So, I mean, for you, this is probably the biggest show on the West Coast in years since the National came back in the 90s, right? So how do you, as a person, for you personally, how does that make you feel from, like you said, where you came from? Because I remember you and me used to talk at Jimmy's every Sunday most of the time. So how does that make just the progression about everything?
So that leads up to an exclusive. So
Hmm.
so my first show was and for those of you guys that's ever been to the shop and things like that, you guys know Rob's probably already told you, and so it's probably no secret. But going back to the story behind it, I mean, look, I mean, even beyond the whole, Diamond Nine situation, even behold the whole situation, guys, look, I'm keeping it a buck this show. It's what's the flavor. I'm keeping it a buck.
Bring it.
But before the whole Diamond Nine thing, before everything else, man, like, my first card show was accidentally the National in '06. I lived in at the time. Of course, Anaheim. I used to live there. Now I live in Vegas, right? But Anaheim Convention Center has always been somewhat sentimental to me, right? And going back to just that first card show and being able, I think I spent like $100 and got a good amount of LeBron rookies. And at the time, he was like a third-year player, and Carmelo cards were still kind of like.
Yeah.
That no, it was actually not Carmelo. I'm sorry, Dwayne Wade, because he just won. He was already kind of going up there, right? And I was trying to, I think, what was I trying to do? It was so much, man. I mean, look, but that was my first like big show. And my old LCS in Long Beach actually had told us about the show. I'm still trying to find the owners of that Long Beach card shop off of California Street. So anyone that's watching that has any connections with those guys, please let me know, man, because I'm trying to reconnect with those guys. And man, I mean, as a kid, I growing up, going to school in Hughes Middle School and walking about 15 minutes away and getting to that card shop and ripping some packs and things like that. It was always a great experience with that card shop. But they actually had, they told us they were setting up at the National type of thing. And I didn't know what that was. And for some odd reason, I decided, you know what, let me head out there, and it was a crazy experience, and I have very, very crazy memories of like remembering a LeBron exquisite and seeing how much that was, and that's like maybe 5%, maybe 2% of the sticker price of what it's worth now. Right, like seeing those old Beckett magazines back in the day where I don't know if you guys remember. I'm probably dating myself here, guys, but like they used to have the I'm sure FD would probably remember, but they used to have the countdown of like, what are the top cards. And I used to see that exquisite RPA all the time as like number one, and then the Ultimate Collection one where he's like dribbling out a little bit. And at the time I was just like, why would anyone pay 20, 30, 40,000 for this card? This is cardboard, and now that card is $3-4 million, it's kind of wild. But that leaves the exclusive in tail as far as where Q3 is going to be. So I'm really, really excited and to take it back home. And you guys are going to have to probably rewind that a couple times, but we'll make a formal announcement in the next few days. And we're pumped. I mean, look, our goal was simply put to provide the best show possible that we can, not only for the West Coast. I mean, look, we hear it all the time. We're dubbed West Coast National, this and that, the third, and we were very humbled by it, right? But at the same time, we're trying to be the best Burbank card show we could be. I mean, when we have meetings, Rob and Jay, when we talk, we always try to figure out ways to do better and to build it up. And, when I talk to sponsors, I always make sure, hey, look, if there's anything that we could push for you guys, please let me know. And same with the dealers. Like, I want to make sure that this is the best experience possible, not just for the guests and, for the folks that are actually paying for tickets, but for the dealers, because the dealers are the ones that buy into this. There are energy source behind, running these shows as well as their sponsors. And to take it back home, it's and my home. So to take it back home is going to be an incredible sight.
That's a wonderful story. I'm excited already.
So we know where it's at. Is that like you guys are gonna do it 2 years, 2 shows a year, right? That's the plan moving forward.
Yes, 2 shows a year. Q1, Q3. We'd like to position ourselves to where, hey, we'd like to at least be the momentum of our current industry, and then the climax, which would be the Q3. So we want to position it that way. We want to give, our vision for this is to be kind of the the E3 of our industry, kind of like that. Like, hey, the announcements will be out, kind of like Comic-Con, where you'll see some crazy highlighted things. And I'm a big swagger guy. I love swag when I go to shows. If you guys are big Office fans, you guys know the episode where Michael Scott went to the convention and took all the free stuff and things like that. I'm that guy, man. Taking out the poker face aside, man. I'm a big a proponent of exclusive, merch, of exclusive product, and we'll have that for this show. But moving forward, we'll have some exclusive stuff with our sponsors and our partners that will be exclusive for just the Burbank card show.
Wait, so what stuff you guys have exclusive that's going to be in Ontario? Or is it early to announce?
It's a little too early to announce, but I will say this: as far as exclusives go, we will have that announcement this week. We're working out details, but I will say this: we're working out something huge with one of the biggest breaking companies in the world. It's probably going to be one of the biggest breaks in all of card show history. And I'll leave it at that. So make sure you guys follow my brother FD and JD for more information.
I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So is Ontario and the other site, the permanent site, you guys are going to go for 1 and 3, or you guys are going to just keep moving and moving until you guys find an actual home?
At the moment, our plan is of course Ontario. We have a great relationship with them, and if everything goes smooth with Q1 with this show, we're definitely going to try our best to build that relationship. But make no mistake, we want to make sure that we build that relationship with the new venue as well.
Damn.
Yeah, which I'm so excited to announce, man. You have no idea. JD, you know how I am with the captions and the stories and all that. Man, I have a great one, man. I'm pumped.
Man, it's 3 weeks away, and I'm just telling FD, like, it's just getting crazy and crazier the more stuff you guys are announcing. Like, what else can you guys bring out that's not already like out of this world?
It already sounds like it's gonna be a game changer.
Yeah, I know. Like, what else can you guys do? Like, what do you have under your sleeve that's just gonna be like, hi, this is what you guys can do over here. Like, this is what we're doing now. Like, I don't understand what else you guys could possibly do. You guys got 4 of the top grading companies coming in doing on-site grading for the weekend. You guys are gonna do comics and all that stuff. Like, what else more can you provide to us besides that? Like, I feel that's above and beyond any other shows are doing right now.
Well, I think one of the biggest thing that I'm most proud of, and Hector said this on the comments, it will be a hobby celebrity fest. Look, guys, I'm not a celebrity, man. You guys could always come up to me, always dab me, man. Like, I don't ever call me that, man. Like, I'm a regular folk. Like, please, like if I want to make sure that it goes back to what I told C-Dub in the podcast, in his podcast, was I think the biggest problem that we have in our current industry is kind of like how the sneaker industry was like early 2010s, where there was kind of like a gate, like that kind of like it makes it harder for new collectors to get in, right? Like, it makes it harder for a young 25-year-old kid that like, hey, I have some money, like I want to get into this, and like all he sees are YouTube videos of guys, with thousands of dollars in transactions, and that's what he knows. When really, actually, I should have probably remembered this dude's name, man. But like, I'm really bad with names. I'm so sorry, guys. But there's a YouTube channel that I actually love, man. I actually remember he came into Burbank, and I stopped him. And man, I don't get starstruck, bro. Like, JD, I'm sure we already talked, man. I don't get starstruck for nothing, bro. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of YouTube channel you got, man. Like, I'm cool. Like, at the end of the day, man, you just the dude that likes cards, bro. Like, I don't care. I got friends, dude. Most of these guys are my friends, so they know how I feel. Like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. But like, at the same time, like, he came to the show, and I had like told my wife, like, oh, that's the guy that I was binging. And it's a dude, I think he brings his kid. He's a Filipino dude. He brings his kid to the shows, and I think he goes to, Jimmy's, goes to Diamond 9, he goes to all these shows, and all they do is look through value boxes. And what he does is they have a Steph Curry PC that they build, but they don't spend money on that Steph Curry unless it's money from their eBay that they sell value cards. eBay. I totally forget the homie's name, man. But man, I'll make sure to shout you out when I after this show, FD. We're gonna shout him out, right? So, but I don't even know, FD. You might even, if once you see his face, I'm sure you recognize him.
I see his face. I'm sure I know.
Yeah. But he breaks it down so eloquently about why he does it, how he does it, And it goes back to when I first started, and I first started at Jimmy's USA.
Mhm.
And a lot of people got it wrong when they think that I'm just this like rich dude, and I started off like buying, LeBron refractors and Kobe autos and things like that. When really I started at Jimmy's USA, I would, go look through boxes. I mean, that's how me and Ultimate Pastimes Mark met. And I was this dumb kid asking Mark, hey man, come on, like he had it for $10. I was like, man, give me 5, give it to me for 5. And Mark was like, man, get out of here, kid. And it ended up being a lifelong relationship and a friendship, man. I mean, Mark's my big brother. He's a mentor of mine. And it started off from there. That's how me and JD met, and a lot of people don't know about no Jimmy's USA, but if you know, you know. So it's one of those grail places that till this day, man, whenever I'm in town and whenever I have time, usually when my wife's getting ready, it takes about 8 hours to get ready. But when I got those 8 hours, I'm gonna swoop by Jimmy's USA real quick on Whittier, and I'll try to strike some deals. But I started there, and for a guy on YouTube to explain that eloquently, man, it's incredible. And I binged all his videos. And I remember when he pulled up to Burbank, I was like, yo, I was like kind of a weirdo too. I was like, hey man, hey, hold on, stop. And he thought that he was in trouble. He thought he was in trouble. I said, nah, bro, I watch all your YouTube videos. And I remember someone was there that was like, oh, it's Mojo, Jay. And Jay was like, who is that guy? I was like, oh, bro, it's this dude that you gotta watch. He breaks it down. And same with Mojo. Like Mojo breaks it down too. And like it's awesome to see that there's an way better opening than it was even last year to get into the industry, because now like it's a collector friendly market right now where you could start a PC and get cards that were once about $1,000 and now they're worth about $200. And it's awesome, and I love it, and especially on the side of building it up and growing our pot, and as far as the more collectors, the better for our market. The more collectors, the better for overall transactions. The more collectors, the more the comps. The more collectors, the more this and that, the third. Like, you guys have to understand that, in my opinion, we're so early in this that the mediums and all the conversations of documentaries and conversations of this and that, the third, that's so irrelevant compared to the amount of collectors that we'll bring in the next years to come due to a kids trade day, buy a mama breaks, content by that YouTuber, and Keen, Keen as well, who does an incredible job with his videos that shows the awesome transactional approach that doesn't exactly mean it's personal. That's awesome to see. Even FD has some videos about, hey, I'm going to Burbank, I'm cashing out a pile of cards that I had in my collection for a while, but I'm trying to get this Grail card. That's awesome to see. It shows the complexity of our industry, but it also shows the possibilities beyond just the regular, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna have to just wait until I have the money for it, when really you could look at your collection and see, hey, look, I could get this and go from there. There's a lot more openings behind it. There's a lot more, oh, I'm gonna start a PC of Klay Thompson, but only from his rookie year, or I'm gonna start there's so much fun in this that you could make out of it. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've personally seen, as far as what I'm personally excited about.
True, very true. Back to building that strategy, seeing what you want to do as a collector, investor, flipper, whatever. It's taking it back to years ago, really, the way the hobby has changed in the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. JD, you got any more questions?
Oh, I got a few. So, yeah, man, you guys always do. Like,
I'm trying to be. It's a dream come true to be on What's the Flavor. I want to talk about everything. You don't have to
rush it. What show?
It could be everything right now. So, it's not about the Lakers, bro.
I got the game on right here.
Or the Tar Heels, guys. It's been a rough season for us.
So let's talk about how, if you're able to, but just getting these sponsorships, because you guys got some big names. So can you just break it down, like just the process of how you getting all these people coming in? Like, what was this? How did it all come about? Because you guys got some big ones, from eBay to Fanatics to all these big names you guys got coming in. I
mean, it goes back to building relationships and partnerships. That's number one, right? And And you know, the one thing that I've learned in all of my dealings in business and life is relationships is everything. And going back to our sponsorships, and shout out to every sponsor that we have, man. I mean, it's been again, that flyer in itself, yes, it's a flex, right? But it's also I'm very proud of it because we're able to partner with brands that actually care, right? And actually really, really care, because if they didn't care about this industry, they would not be a sponsor of the show. You know, because you know, and going back to your question as far as how did you get them and things like that, there's a value proposition behind it, with aligning yourself with the Burbank card show or another card show or another show, right? And visibility, the marketing aspect, the whole aspect of reach, direct reach with guests, having that physical ability to build activations and have correspondence to potentially have turnovers. And this is all business talk right here, but I'll make it very simple for you guys. If a business sees value in your platform, into whether that's value into them strengthening their A product, strengthening their B presence and their marketing and overall success in general, then it equals sponsorship. So there it is. There's some free Jay-Z game from EJ himself. So for those of you guys that are running any sort of business or card shows that that runs with sponsors, I mean, that's pretty much it. And your sponsorship, whether that's on a transactional financial situation or support, or whether that's a servicing support, it should gear towards back to your guest and how they could benefit from that. And the biggest thing that our sponsors that have bought into our kids trade day, they see the need that, hey, we need to show support towards our future generation of kids and folks that are really, really gearing towards the next generation, and understanding that these kids aren't ripping flawless. They're not ripping immaculate. They're not ripping, antique. They're ripping the more basic and entry level packs. But at the same time, those entry level packs that we may look down upon, to a kid, that John Morant base Prism card, that's their best card. My nephew's favorite card is his Kobe Flare Metal. That shout out Domain 824. He gave him because my nephew thinks the PSA 8 grade means Kobe. My nephew's 9 turning 10. So to him, that's like such a monumental card, and that card's like 30, 40, 50 bucks. But to him, like, that means the world to him. There's kids that are buying those stands. I forget what FD and JD, you guys could help me out on what those stands are called, but they have these stands where you could, I'm trying to see if I have one in my desk, but they have these stands where you could showcase your cards. And some of these kids, their parents are buying the stands so that the kids could showcase the cards and showcase them in their room, and
like set a display, something like that.
Yeah. And like, imagine Junior got a rolling with FD stand, but then he got his Grail Kobe card, his Grail Steph Curry card. And that's cool to see, and it's and the biggest part of our kids trade day is simply put, we're going to teach the kids to learn how to not only value the card, understand, shout out to Ultra Pro, understand the value of protecting your cards. Right. And not only that, but Stephanie and also we'll have some special guest appearance from folks of how to actually do deals, how to actually do trades, and then for kids to actually interact with other kids and trade in a safe and fun environment in a designated area beyond just our main room, which again, kids are more than welcome to be part of. It's awesome to have that at our show.
That's an excellent thing, because I remember when I was a child, I started at retail. What cards that we're talking about, probably no one cares about right now, but it taught me something, and it grows. And like what you just said, these kids are not opening flawless, and some of these big brands now. What will those brands be 20, 30 years from now when they are opening them up, and they will remember what they learned skills to help them at that time.
Right.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Got a question from Hector. Are VIP passes limited? Do they sell out?
Yes. Our VIP passes are limited. And they're we haven't even announced what that's to come. I'm very proud to say that our VIP pass packages are going to be some of the best, if not the best, in our industry. Man, we haven't even announced the 2 big additions that have happened this week as far as VIP pass is concerned. So if you're interested in getting a VIP pass, burbankcardshow.com. It sold out last show. It sold out even after the sold out. And I remember Loco Cards had mentioned it. I had a couple that was saved, and we ended up hooking them up. So there it is.
Can you talk about the pricing about general and VIP?
Yeah, so generals, we stayed at $15 for general admission. Now that's online. At the door, we have yet to confirm whether that's 15 or 20. We do have to pay our people that are working for us, guys. So that's the reason why it was 20 at the last show. But we're going to do our best to vocalize that this coming week as far as at the door. But guys, it's pretty simple. Burbank Card Show. It's a lot easier. And we'll have 2 separate lines this time around for those who have paid online and then also those who are going to be. But we will have a will call, will call for those of you guys that are that want to buy in person. We will have a will call open for those folks that opt to just buy at the show. And then for our VIPs, it's $150, but you do have access to that Thursday. And then also you'll have early access to Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Damn, that's not bad. But that 150 go a long way, especially last show.
Yeah, the first view of cars is almost worth that. Walking around,
a long way.
Yeah,
we had guys that once we announced that Beckett was doing a 30% off at the last show, we had guys that were trying their best to trade off their VIP passes or their dealer passes for the VIPs, and Beckett, they already had a line sheet of the VIPs that were a part of the VIP package. So they had to like double check the names and stuff. And if it didn't match, then they couldn't do the 30%. So.
Damn. Well, I'm just going to shoot my shot right now. Can you, let's do like a little contest for what's the flavor, maybe like a general pass, something.
Yeah. I'll do this. Why don't we do a VIP pass for those of you guys that are watching or FD, if you want to regulate that, we'll do a VIP pass at the end of the show.
Okay.
Or at the end of the week, if anything.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, pick like a loyal FD winner, and then
But they have to be in the go. Make sure you guys come to the show.
FD, it can't be G or Junior, brother. You can't pick yourself. All right,
we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you guys are already coming in anyways in the media pass, but come on, like let's not pick yourself, FD. And the winner is FD. That's me.
Or BF. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited for this. 3 weeks. I mean, damn. I was telling FD, it felt like yesterday the first show was coming. That just dropped, and now look at this. We here now. Like, that's just insane to me.
Yeah, man. And again, like I will answer Hector's question here, where he said he had a Fanatics. Actually, it was a comment. A Fanatics comment. Our conversations with Fanatics. I mean, look, I'll say this. There's a bunch of $1 million companies out there. Fanatics is a $1 billion company, and my call with Fanatics is simply put, they're gonna take the marketing to the next level as far as our industry is concerned. I mean, they have some huge plans, and I'm really, really excited. And us, even at Burbank, not just Burbank Card Show, but Burbank Sports Cards, just really excited to work with Fanatics to help them help us and for them to help us. It's that simple. And for us collectors, I mean, you're going to see some stuff. I mean, look at even I think it was the Luca Tiger guys that had the best card show, best this, best that type of thing, which is very, very controversial. But I will say this: we did proudly win the best card show besides the national, but we also won best newcomer of the year. But I will say this. SGC, Tag, and the Tops buyback, as well as the Mid Collective, those are like not only newcomers of the year, but they were like game changers of the year. SGC, the fact that they were able to concentrate on their core values and being able to have that turnaround time was special. That's very special. I mean, you guys have to understand that's labor and servicing online. That's crazy for a company to take full advantage of their of a problem and vocalize it. It kind of reminds me when Domino's had that situation where it was like, I think it was under 30 minutes, and then they ended up, losing out on that. And then they ended up like, I think it was like 8 years later, they had a campaign where they're like, we're sorry, try out our new pizza. It was really cool. I mean, it's really cool to see. And again, guys, like it's very, I commend Peter, Brian and those guys at SGC. I mean, man, they're a force to be reckoned with. And then of course with Tag, man, if you guys just look out for an announcement this week, you'll see an announcement. Tag will have an incredible setup at our show, or may I say setups at our show. Wow. And man, if you guys saw the setup at the last show, even though spacing was limited, they made the best use of it. It reminded me of the Apple Store. I thought I was going to get a service on my MacBook, but I didn't. But Tag is next level. I mean, look, those guys are really, really years of planning, right, into running that. Mid Collective, no disrespect to any other B2B company or B2B type of show, but Mid Collective was like that opportunity to level up your game, whether you're FD or JD in the media side, or whether you're on my side of running card shows or running promotions or running a shop like Rob, or running a shop, whether you're a shop owner, whether you're a content creator, whether or not this or that, you're able to properly network and properly build with workshops and getting that proper of the who's of our industry is awesome to see. And it opened up a bridge for us younger guys, right? And us younger guys and gals that want to be in this industry, and they're doing an incredible job. And lastly, the Topps buyback program. That's huge, man. There was a lot of people that were trying to get their base Aaron Judge cards, out their value boxes, because I think they were cashing out folks at $20. I know my new LCS Legacy, they were a part of the program as well, and they were cashing folks out on different tiers and things like that nature. And that's a game changer in itself, because it allows Topps to pour money back into our industry as far as our collectors and our customers. And those four struck to me like, if we're talking about newcomers of the year for here to stay, man, I'm like JD right now. I can't imagine a level up in the next year, this year alone or next year. And we're doing our best to level up as well.
Man. What you got, FD? You got something?
No, I think he's answered all my questions.
All right, so let's talk about just a few minutes. Like, how do you think the hobby's going right now? The state of the hobby, just from your perspective, from the last year or so.
As far as the market, or as far as just overall?
Overall, because you're doing it on. I want to hear your perspective, because you're union.
Well, I'll say this on a business side as well. Shameless plug. Dynasty Mode as well as a buy, sell, and trade platform. We're not platform as far as like alt or anything, but we're buy and sell and trade shop. Right. So not only me as a traveling salesman, but also, we have our eBay store and things of that nature. And, I'll confess, we had to adjust our strategy as far as what we're selling. And for those of you guys, again, JD, he knows, like, I started off with value boxes and cards under 500. And then I quickly got to the higher end sphere. So I was in higher ends for higher end cards for about 6-7 months. And then I realized the margins just weren't as consistent as the 500 and unders. So now if you look at our eBay store, there's like a couple $1,000 cards, but everything is pretty much 500 and under or 200 and under. And we want to stay consistent with that. And I've hired on my brother to not only run the card side of the spectrum. My wife helps out now, and I'm excited to finally build this family type of business, right? But also, make no mistake, I'm a huge toy guy, and we're announcing the launch of Dynasty toys officially, and that will be not only a platform, but also a buy and sell and trade situation online. And my cousin, once he's back from Japan, we're going to get him on board. And he's probably one of the biggest toy collectors you'll ever meet. He has my opinion, one of the largest Marvel Legends collections. And I'm just excited to venture on to that toy industry and toy market. And but make no mistake, my priority is cards and our industry. And, the way I see it on the market side, That's what I see, is that there's going to be some adjustments. There was a eBay seller that said it best. He said, "Hey, you're gonna work hard these next few years for less money." And I'm very well prepared for that, as far as making sure that everybody else is taken care of before me. As far as me myself, I want to make sure our employees are taken care of. I want to make sure the business is taken care of. I want to make sure Burbank Card Show is taken care of, as far as making sure that we do our best to keep it a very competitive, as far as not just scheduling but also as cost. And then going back to the overall hobbyism of it, JD. I love it, man. I mean, to be able to get a legacy Kobe for a fraction of the price, is incredible. I mean, to be able to get a nice Steph Curry PC, I'm sure me and FD, I'm trying to get to your level, man. I've come to realize that the window of collecting Steph Curry is getting smaller and smaller.
This is why I went so hard.
It's closing in. So I'm doing my best. And for those of you guys that did not see, maybe I'll go grab it real quick. But I'm very happy to grab this flawless in-person inscription.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen that inscription.
Yeah. And that was one of those, like, you know what? Let me finish the end of the year with a bang. And that was a bang. So
I'm happy you pulled that, man. It's a great card.
Yeah. So like, it's
yeah, ready.
You're the Kobe fan. The Curry fan in me, bro. That's a wonderful card, man.
Yeah, with the 2 diamonds on the
way
side.
you find it, how you placed it out. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let PSA do their thing with it. I will shameless plug, be at the Long Beach Expo. And it's gonna be a good time. And yeah, man, if you guys are out there, kick it with me, we'll have a good time.
But so let me ask you this, because Rob spoke to something the other day on an Instagram live, a reel, where people are saying the hobby's dead. And you touched on this a little bit right here. But give everybody, EJ, because I've been wanting to get your opinion on this. What do you think when you hear people say that? What's your reaction? We just talked about a huge show that's coming. We talked about something that's what you all are going to be doing next year. I hear growth. I hear expansion. I hear bigger things coming into the hobby. What do you hear or think when you hear people say, man, that thing is dead?
Shout out C Blez, by the way.
I'm still waiting for that dance.
C Blez, man, he wouldn't let me home. He wouldn't let me go home, man. Shout out to Chad, man, doing
like his energy, man.
I saw the FD challenge with the sit-ups with Junior, man. It was I don't think I'm gonna join that challenge this year, boys. There's a lot of good food that I got to eat this year, so I'll take one for the team and get in shape next year, 2024 Kobe year. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll make sure of that. But when I hear that, everybody got an opinion and they all smell like armpits, type of thing, right? Like, okay, so like going back to when I first started, like cards weren't cool.
when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, not cool at all.
Yeah, like cards weren't cool. Like and Loco cards, I'll get to Dallas and how that was an eye opener. Cards weren't cool and now they're cool, right? Like now it's cool, right? And like I feel like there's a lot of followers, but there's not a lot of folks that are real hustlers, right? And I've always felt like, man, I've always had this hustler's mentality, man. Like, like I've always had a business mentality, and I've always, like, by any means, like I'm always gonna make it happen. If we're talking about on the business sense, right? But on a hobby sense, the collectors that have been collecting for 30 years are still here.
That's right.
The collectors that have been collecting for the past 20 years are still here. The collectors that have been collecting since, the early days, when it's funny because the first Diamond 9 show, Diamond 9 needs to cut me a check, man. I gave him 3 shout outs today. But Diamond 9 had like 10, 20 tables, and we were like, man, it's popping. 10, 20 tables.
Yeah.
Like there was I remember there was one show, it was 10 tables. I forget which show it was. It was Andy's show. The show at the pet store.
Yeah.
That show, man, we were really stupid at these COVID times, man. We were stupid, but we had we had it at the pet show, and I was like, what, 20 vendors, 10 vendors. It was like really packed, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was a good show. Like, and now like people are like, oh, it's a 100 table show, it's a small show. Like, what?
Yeah, I tell JD this all the time. It could be a 10 table show. What's on the table?
Oh man. Oh, look, bro. Like, Like I remember our first trade night, Average Joe's trade night. We was popping. It was popping, right? And then like 3 weeks later, there was like 20 people, and everyone was like, "Man, like everybody's like over it." I'm like, because I live in Vegas, and our trade night's like 4 people, and it's the best trade night, JD. Like we're at a bar, like it's like one of those like open field bars, but there's food, and the chef at the bar, he's actually a culinary chef in training. So he gets down because he wants to impress everybody type of thing. And man, like those sliders are A class. And it's the 4 of us. It's 702 cards, Neil, who, if you guys know him, man, great guy. He's the host of the of our trade nights here in Vegas. We're very humble here in Las Vegas. Shout out to my brother B, BNS collector. And then of course the legacy guys, you have the game day guys coming through sometimes, and then you got the dark side guys, Kyle and Donald, they'll come through. And sometimes, man, like we'll just kick it, and I think going back to the Super Bowl, like we like hang out at the games, and like we'll watch the games, and like, man, it's like such a vibe, man. And like I think that the situation at hand, like we'll have a special situation after the show that's not included in the show for our guests that are still at the show. And, I think that will be a great experience. But, going back to, what you said about, the spectrum of our current state, is that I think a lot of people just were so used to it's just going to keep growing. It's just going to keep growing. Growing, that they didn't really like understand that, hey, there's ebbs and flows. There's ebbs and flows. I mean, look, the crypto market is like, man, like I feel really bad because I have friends that really lost. And I think it goes back to just everything, that there was so much free money going out. There was so much, we talked about liquidity. There was definitely some liquidity. Shout out to the government. There was liquidity involved in that. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, so much people were very accustomed and with, I'm very big on financial literacy. And, one of the things, full disclosure, I didn't come from money. So I had to learn all that on my own, FD. And so one of the biggest things that I learned in financial literacy is the ability to be disciplined in how you spend money, being disciplined on how you make money, being disciplined on what you do. And I think that discipline from a lot of folks went away because they were so used to a check. They were so used to a stimulus check. They were so used to this. They were so used to that. They were so used to a LeBron rookie being $8,000 all day, every day. And the next thing you know, it's $2,000. Yep. So, and there was a lot of folks that were making some pretty bad decisions. I mean, look, myself included, man, there was some stuff that FD, I wished I cashed out on. I'm like, man, I'm still sitting on that right now, and then, but there's some stuff that I did cash out on, and it was an incredible ride, and we'll look back on this years to come. And, man, I saw a guy, no shade to this guy, but I saw a guy and he posted, I didn't even watch the video, man. I didn't want to watch the video, but he blamed an influencer for him losing his life savings or some shit. Like, bruh, you're a man. You're an adult. You make your own decisions.
You gotta be accountable, man.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, dude. Like, hey, whether sports car, radio, whoever influencer out there, they have their own content. Same with FD. Whatever content they have, regardless of what it is, whereas if I agree with it or not, it's content. It's content. For you to go above and beyond and use your life savings and like,
I agree.
Like take it upon yourself through some dudes on internet, like that's on you, man. Like, I'm sorry, but that's on you. Like, I've made some really bad decisions based on, I'm not going to snitch, but what JD told me to put all my money into Kyrie. Right. And then I told JD, I was like, JD, this dude's using the Sage before the game. I don't know, man. I don't know. JD's like, nah, bro, like go ahead and buy it. I said, all right, man, I'll put $20,000 into a Kyrie rookie refractor. And now it's worth like $200. But you know what? I still love JD. I still love JD. But joking aside, guys, like all this is information, right? And I think if anything, the content creators probably should do a better job of just vocalizing, hey, look, guys, this is what I did. This is what I did, and you could do it too. But just know the the same cautionary side that I took, you got to take the same caution too. And that's probably like the biggest thing is like, I've made money, I've lost money. And I think the word, or I'm sorry, the phrase here is your risk tolerance. There's a lot of folks in this industry that have really strong risk tolerance. And these are like the guys that have been in it, and also the guys that have done so many transactions. Like I've seen Boosted do deals, and I've seen Tim do deals, and I've seen Goat do deals. And like, there's a lot of guys that are like, oh, wow, like these guys do deals like you do. And I'm like, yeah, at times, but like those guys are next level. Those guys aren't me. Those guys are in their own little, those guys are in they're way above me. And the biggest thing that I see, especially, and I'm proud of with Tim and Kevin, is their risk tolerance and being able to be like, you know what, man, I lost out on that deal, but I'm gonna win the next 5 deals. You know,
what I love about them too is that if you ask them, why did you do what you just did? If you were a person that just came up to the table and you ask them why, they can walk you through a strategy. It's not just whipping something out. They can walk you through why they did it. That's what I love about it.
Exactly, guys. And look, guys, full disclosure, the card show, I could talk about it for an hour. But going back to deals, I could talk about that the whole day. I love doing deals, guys. Like, that's my favorite part of our industry is going to card shows, going to deals. Look, guys, I mean, I could selfishly say, yeah, I go to card shows to network. Yeah, I go to card shows to kind of see what all these other promoters are doing. But that's like 10%. The other 90% is doing deals. And I have my same dealers that I do deal with at every show, just for the fact of changing inventory, making sure that there's more, especially Hawaii. Hawaii was a special moment for my career because it showed me that you can't judge a book by its cover. Hawaii was about 90% Pokemon. It was 90% anime, 90% a Comic-Con anime expo type of show, right? But let me tell you, man, shout out to everybody in Hawaii. I'm a Hawaiian now. I told a lot of people that I'm Hawaiian now. You call me Oos all day, every day, man. I'm part Samoan. Hey, shout out to all my Ooses out there. But the deals in Hawaii, I hope I'm explaining this like as clear as possible. But every deal that happened in Hawaii was a great deal. Like, it was already like the folks that were there in Hawaii that were sports cards collectors or sports card dealers or sports cards investors, they were there to deal. Like, no BS. Like, it wasn't just to look, it wasn't just to do like it wasn't just to kind of just see. They were ready. They had their Zion cases. They were ready to go. And man, let me tell you, FD, that first day was such a great day for our group. We had kind of the League of Extraordinary Dealers type of group in our Hawaiian trip. Man, it was such a great overall show. And I mean, there's things that could have been fixed, right? And there's things that if the promoter in Hawaii wants to give me a call and let me know, hey man, hey cuz, like if there's anything that you could help with us, let me know. Man, I'd be the first one to be like, man, let me know. I'll help you with anything, man. Free of charge. Just pay me spam Asubi, and I got you. But that show, like, yes, there was growing pains with that show, but at the same time, you saw the passion for our industry in Hawaii. And to me, it was like, if people are talking mad smack about our industry in the mainland, but then people in Hawaii are just happy that there's dealers in America that not America, Hawaii's a part of America, but in the mainland that they could just see other cards, or they could see cards that they don't necessarily see every day, right? Or every show. That shows me the future of our industry. When you go see, I think it was T. Reich, my brother Troy, who had a vlog about him going to Germany. Yeah. And like seeing, I remember they asked this dude, they were like, hey, what's one thing that you'd like to see in this Germany show? And it was packed. And they basically said, man, we want a bigger venue. Like, you go to the UK show, there was a show in the UK, and I'll shout them out too, because it's happening the same time as the Burbank show. There's a show in London, and it's like one of the biggest shows out there. And man, like, their first show was packed. It was like Burbank. It was kind of like packed. And man, seeing shows out there, I mean, man, the growth is almost like we can't really call it. Like it's one of those like, man, can you imagine this in about 5 years if we just kind of stay consistent,
I
stay
agree.
consistent in our content creating, staying consistent in our ability of not only running card shows but running valuable assets to our industry beyond just sports cards. Man, it's gonna be a thing to see. It's gonna be a sight to see for sure.
I agree. Hey Hector, I want to give you a shout out. I know you said I have a natural fear of haggling. I love to walk the show with you, just to talk through stuff with you. I know JD would as well, or anybody else is there. It's kind of a part of everything, and if anywhere we can help, it's all good. Because I talk to a lot of people that say the same thing, and sometimes it's just about breaking through that glass wall.
Sure. Yeah, FD, man. I've seen FD haggle, and let me tell you, man, he's definitely one of those guys. I'll tell you that. So, Hector, man, make sure you get with FD on that, because you'll come out probably haggling everything, like haggling at Target, haggling at Walmart.
I don't think there's any price tag. To me, a price tag is a suggestion.
Yeah, that's why when FD comes, Hector, when FD comes to my booth, I make sure to like change all my prices like $5 more. So just to make sure, like, FD, like,
I'm gonna get EJ $10 now.
Would you take 20? I said, oh, joke's on you, FD, because that was the real price.
Yeah. But like Loco said, I do not tenderize. That's not me.
That's Daniel. That's the curator. Shout out to the curator, by the way, man. I mean, look, Daniel has his group of loyalty as well as hate, but I mean, the man is consistent. I'll tell you that. Look, guys, consistency is key in this game, man. And like, we've seen guys come and go. We've seen folks stop. And man, it seems to me that it's still strong, man. Dallas was, oh man, I heard it was great. I had the biggest FOMO. I was stuck on this plane. I came back home to LA. I was trying to get to Dallas on late Friday, Saturday, and I just couldn't do it, guys. I couldn't do it. And yeah, man, I mean, it's one of those things to where, you get older and sometimes your back hurts. It is what it is, man. And, I left it as it is. Yeah.
I heard that.
You got anything else?
No, I don't have anything else. EJ broke it all down. I mean, I'm excited about this show. Really excited. I can't tell you how much. We play to cover it. So from A to Z.
Okay, last thing, because you're the king of free game. Before we get off, give us one more free game, because you just be giving out free game every day. So give us one more before we get off.
Oh man. Well, first off, George D had a question, Ja or Luca. Man, that's tough, man. That's tough.
You know who it is. Come on now.
Yeah.
Don't even start.
You know who that is? Who is that?
Luca, we're twins. We're twins. That'll be Luca, man. Ja's awesome, by the way. I think Ja's a generational type of player as well. Free game. Man, there's a lot of free game to give out this day and age. But I think for me, man, honestly, is there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'll share a little something about you guys, man. Like, I was never in this position. I was never the guy who was destined for this position, right? Or, a lot of people think that, but I was never the guy who was always like the first choice, whether that was as a kid, whether that was like when I was hooping, or whether that was in business or in general. But I've always kind of just put my head down and just went to work. And I knew, like, at the end of the day, your work is going to speak for itself. And I remember, I'm not going to say the show, but I remember when they had the what was that, like a panel type of situation. They chose the panel. I think JD knows the story. I took that shit personally, bro.
I told you. I came up to you.
Hey, bro, I respect it. I respect the homies.
I came up to you, and I remember.
I saw the lineup, and I was like, all right, bet. All right.
I came up to you. I told you that day. Yeah. I told you that day. That's
why I don't do panels.
I told you. I came up to you afterwards. I was like, come on, E. What are you doing down here?
I saw the lineup. In respect, man. Shout out to everybody in that lineup. But just know, like, hey, man, like, okay. So it was after the show. It was me, Pat, and Tim. and we went to until this day, man, this is forever gonna be a little side free game is man, surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with good folks. Man, shout out to Flip, shout out to Tim, Goat, my whole crew, man, same crew that I had when I started, brother. And going back to the dinner at BJ's, we all kind of went down. We're like, hey, what do you guys want to accomplish this year? And at first it was like, man, like, what are you talking about, man? We just got done with the show and all that. And I was like, man, honestly, I have this opportunity to run, in my opinion, the best show in our industry. That was 2021. And all I wanted to do was to break the internet. All I wanted to do was so that it could break the norm, right? And that's all I wanted to do. I think Tim had said I wanted to level up and, be the best dealer I could be. And man, I honestly thought that 2022 was a Prevail Tim year. He was our rookie of the year. I mean, the man went to Dallas, and it went uphill from there for him. And for Pat, if you guys know Pat, man, he's the most loving dude in our industry, right? And it almost kind of I teared up when he called me and he said that he's full-time in our industry now. And I remember he told me, he's like, man, I'm so glad to be a part of Coffee Breakers. And I remember I told him, I was like, man, Jeff and Juju and Rizzo and all those guys, and also the Coffee Breaker guys, they're lucky to have you. Like, I remember like we talked about it. I remember I cried and I was like, man, we started at Jimmy's, bro. Like, this was like literally our hobby. And now this is our job. Like, this is our career. We get to we get to live out a dream. Like, man, my emails are shot right now. But at the end of the day, man, I go to sleep. I'm like, man, I'm living a dream. I used to collect cards for fun as a kid, and now, like, I get to work with some of the biggest brands, and like, it's the wildest thing, man. And like, man, the light is at the end of the tunnel, man. Just keep working, regardless of whether you're going to get into this industry or whether you're trying to get a Kobe auto or a Steph Curry auto. Man, I can't wait for that guy on YouTube, man. I'll make sure to shout you out after this, man. For him to finally get a Steph Curry auto with his kid, and that was off the money they were doing off of months of working and finding these value cards. And going back to that dinner, man, like, we had that dinner at BJ's and we went our way. Until this day, we talk about that dinner. And when that first Burbank show happened, man, like, I remember after the show, I never told anybody, but when I woke up and I saw the amount of DMs and the amount of comments of the show, man, I teared up, dude. Because you guys don't understand, like, if I'm ever in a situation of changing the game or being a part of something special, I'm gonna give it 120%. I think that I think that this show, especially, like, we gave it all. Jay gave it his all. Rob gave it his all. And I've told this plenty of times, like, Rob doesn't have to do anything, guys. He allowed me to use his brand to create this show. And Rob is way more a part of this show than ever. Like, it's almost to a point where I need to tell him, like, hey, Rob, chill, man. Like we got this, But, man, Rob's so passionate. I've said it again. Like, Rob loves this industry more than anyone I know. And if there's anything that I could say is he knows the same is that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel always. And just keep your head down and keep focused. Unless you're driving, then keep your head up. Then driving, so it's different. But other than that, man, that's what it is, man.
That's great, man. That's a great story. I mean, it talks so this says a lot. But that's EJ, though, man. If anybody knows EJ, you're talking to a person that is trying to get after it every day, and that's what I respect about you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it was very important for me to get on this. I told JD, I texted JD, hey, man, get with FD's agency. They gotta talk to my agency. I know FD's price is so much different now than it was last year, so we got to make sure we got to pay the man. So, man, but I've been wanting to get into the what's the flavor, man. I've been trying to get in for a while. I was on the waiting list, but now I'm
got you in, bro. Got you in.
I appreciate that flyer though. I told FD,
I know my man was over there putting in work. Like, yeah,
that was my what was that? That was my backup plan because my first plan was to find that picture of FD, repping his fam. Yeah. Like, and I'm not officially a part of anything, but
it's all good, bro. You're honorary, baby.
Gotta rep it a little bit, man. Shout out to my folks. But yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, guys, man, I'm really proud of you, FD. Really proud of you, JD. You know that, man. And I'm always gonna keep it 1,000 with you guys, man. And I will say this, FD, man, you are consistent AF.
We work, bro.
You rolling, bro. I'm telling you, man, we rolling. Yep. So I can't wait, man. Anything I can do for you guys, man, please let me know.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna leave y'all with something. This Lakers game, right? Just picture this now. Shannon Sharp is on the sidelines watching the game. He gets into a shouting match with Grizzly players and Ja's father, T. Morant. Well, so when you get off of this, check this out. It's classic.
Oh, man.
Shannon Sharp is shouting at people.
Shout out to Usher, by the way, man. Usher is not only a great singer, he's a great father.
That's right. He's a great father. He's there every game with a drink in his hand. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's what if you do the math, FD, you remember the song Confessions?
That's right. That's about Ja's age.
That's how Ja was made,
It makes sense.
Oh my God. You on here more often, man.
Yeah. We're gonna do another What's the Flavor, man. We're gonna do it, man. We should probably, you know what? I will pitch this. We could probably do a What's the Flavor live at the Burbank Card Show.
That would be great. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be great.
Man, potentially during, we could probably do it. So
we did it before. Let's do it again.
That'd be great.
Do it again, man. Yeah, man. But shout out. Well, I'm definitely gonna check up on that afterwards. Hold on, let me go.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to tell you too. I purchased a card a while ago from a guy in the Bay Area. I know he reached out to you and Tim. I talked to Tim in person. Never got a chance to talk to you.
Okay.
I want to thank you for your recommendation. I think we hit each other up on some DMs about it, but I appreciate you. That was the first time I was able to know someone that knew someone and really buy a card outside of eBay. I've told JD this. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, dude, no problem. I mean, shout out to the Bay Area, man. Good folks. Can't wait to see you guys all at the Burbank show, but also can't wait for Dion and Reggie and those guys to have their shows as well. Man, great folks.
Yeah, great folks. Yep. All the way around. EJ, appreciate you, brother.
Cool, man. Catch you guys there. We'll figure out that giveaway. And then look out for more BurbankCardShow.com, at Burbank Card Show, at Dynasty Mode, at JD the Collector, at Rolling with FD. What's the flavor?
And we'll be in contact with you talking about that live too, man.
Let's do it.
Don't worry, we'll get it done, FD. I'll talk to EJ somehow. I'll persuade him.
Yeah. You got to talk to my agent.
Be there. Yeah, we got to talk to the agent.
Talk to my agent.
Yes,
all right, I'll call him right now. All right, guys.
Talk to you
later.